Now, the interviews for the quest of Kenya's next Chief Justice continue, and the former chairman of the Committee of Experts, Nzamba Kitonga, is currently fielding questions from the Judicial Service Commission. Nzamba faces the Judicial Service Commission, which has already been petitioned by businessman Abraham Mutai to reject him on grounds of serious integrity issues. He says that Kitonga, who was in the Goldberg Inquiry Commission in 2003, did not disclose that he had previously actively participated in the private prosecution of businessman Kamlesh Patni. Kitonga served in the Council of the Law Society of Kenya, of which he also became chairman in 1997, and has also served as the head of the Mombasa Court of Justice. All right, and of course we had those proceedings live from the Supreme Court. Our reporter, Michelle Ngele, has closely been following that up for us and is now joining us live from the Supreme Court with a summation of some of the things or the line of questioning that Nzamba Kitonga had to deal with since morning. A very good afternoon to you, Michelle. Many thanks for joining us here on Newsdesk. Kindly just take us through some of the questions that Nzamba Kitonga had to deal with this morning.
So the questions weren't very different from those posed for previous candidates who have appeared before the commission. Of course, the first question was, in his first 100 days, or even throughout the whole 5 years, if appointed Chief Justice, what would be his vision? What would he plan to do? And Nzamba Kitonga, just like David Maraga, just like Al Nashir Visram, says that their main plan in 2.5 years would be to roll out IT services to ensure that they would have automated filing of cases and an e-registry which would be able to enhance efficiency in the judicial process, and they would be able to speed up the judicial service or the justice system in the country as well. But like you mentioned, Akisa, there is a bit of contention when it comes to Nzamba Kitonga's application that businessman Mutai, who did file an application to the JSC to ensure that Nzamba Kitonga was not interviewed by the JSC on the grounds of his integrity and how he handled the Goldberg scandal when he was a commissioner in the Commission of Inquiry at the time. And that question was posed to him by the JSC panel this morning, and he rubbished those claims as complete lies, saying that he had said before that he was involved with the businessman Kamlesh Patni, who was seen as the main mastermind of the Goldberg scandal at the time, and that any other orders or any other action he took at the time was an action that was supported by a decision of the High Court. And that is an answer that seemed to satisfy the JSC panel, because no more questions were asked in that regard. But then, of course, Akisa, the one thing that stands out about Nzamba Kitonga is the fact that he is the only candidate here in this race who is not a judge and has no judicial experience in that matter. And so he was asked, being someone with no judicial experience, what would he say to a candidate who tells him they're better suited because they have the judicial experience? Nzamba Kitonga, they're saying that he really doesn't think that there is any difference between a judge and a lawyer, especially a lawyer of his capacity that has served for quite a long time. Remember, his CV, his credentials are quite impressive. Up until 2015, he did serve as the president of the Mombasa Court of Justice.